Welcome to your essential briefing on the chaotic, high-stakes, and often surreal world of modern fame. In an era where entire fortunes are made and reputations are irrevocably destroyed in the span of a single news cycle, the landscape is in a constant state of violent flux. This isn't just celebrity gossip, this is a critical look at the tectonic shifts in power, the billion-dollar battles being waged in courtrooms, and the bizarre cultural moments that come to define our time. The stories of today are no longer confined to Hollywood. They are unfolding in real time on our phones, in podcasts, and in the comment sections of every social media platform. In tonight's comprehensive briefing, we have three major developing stories that have captivated and dominated the cultural conversation. First, the Fallen Kingdom. We have the absolute latest updates on the Tana Mongeau and Brooke Schofield fallout. We'll analyze the surprising and divergent new ventures that have risen from the ashes of their creative divorce, and what they tell us about the future of influencer branding. Second, the billion-dollar verdict. We will break down the long-awaited and truly shocking developments in the massive lawsuit between TikTok superstar Josh Richards and the soda giant Poppy, a landmark case that has already sent tremors through the entire creator economy. And finally, music's Cold War. We investigate the silent but deeply tense standoff between musical titans Lana Del Rey and Ethel Cain, exploring how their conflict has transformed into a war waged through lyrics and coded messages. Grab your tea and settle in, because the news is breaking and the details are more complex than you can imagine. Our top story tonight remains the ongoing fragmentation and strategic rebuilding of the Tana Mongeau media empire. For those just catching up, the once unbeatable partnership between Tana Mongeau and her canceled podcast co-host Brooke Schofield didn't just end. It imploded in what can only be described as a messy, public, and fascinating business divorce. While the official reason cited was the vague and convenient specter of internet hate, the reality, as pieced together by millions of fans, was a complex web of shifting power dynamics, fundamentally divergent career goals, and a bitter social realignment that played out like a season of reality television. The latest developments, as of August 2025, show both women moving aggressively to solidify their positions and prove their individual marketability in a post-canceled world. Brooke Schofield has found remarkable success with her solo podcast venture, tentatively titled Pretty Basic But Not, which leans heavily into a more aspirational, wellness, and high fashion-oriented brand. This is a stark and intentional departure from the chaotic, often self-destructive energy she was known for in her previous role. This move is being hailed by industry analysts as a brilliant and meticulously executed rebranding effort. It has allowed her to successfully distance herself from the Tana-centric drama and cultivate her own independent and arguably more brand-safe audience. Her recent sponsorship deals with luxury brands like Dior, and her presence at Paris Fashion Week signal a clear and successful ascent into a new tier of influence. Meanwhile, Tana Mongeau, the undisputed queen of chaos, has been attempting to fill the significant void left by her most consistent and successful project. Recent reports indicate she is deep in development for a new, unstructured reality show with a major streaming platform, aiming to recapture the raw, unfiltered magic of her early Storytime YouTube days. However, sources suggest the project is facing hurdles, as streaming executives struggle to balance Tana's authentic brand of chaos with their need for a structured, deliverable product. Socially, the lines in the sand remain firmly drawn. The alliance between Tana's best friend, Paige, and Brooke's ex-friend, BB, has solidified into a public-facing power duo, with the two frequently appearing in content together, signaling that there has been absolutely no reconciliation behind the scenes. The fallout has effectively split one of the most powerful and influential social circles in Los Angeles into two rival factions, both of which are now competing for the same cultural relevance and advertising dollars. The old kingdom has irrevocably fallen, and from its ashes, two separate courts are now vying for control and the right to define the next era. We now turn to a story that has had the entire creator economy, from influencers to agents to corporate executives, on the edge of its seat for over a year. The high-stakes legal battle between influencer-turned-entrepreneur Josh Richards and the prebiotic soda company Poppy has been brewing, And we finally have a major landscape-altering update. To properly recap this monumental case, Josh Richards filed a massive lawsuit against Poppy, a company that skyrocketed to a valuation of over $1 billion. He alleged that he was not just a paid promoter, but a foundational partner who was fraudulently cut out of his promised equity stake after the company achieved astronomical success. He claimed his influence, his network, and his strategic advice were essential in building the brand from an unknown startup into a cultural phenomenon, but that his foundational contributions were conveniently forgotten when it came time to cash in. In a stunning development in late July 2025, sources close to the case have confirmed that both parties have reached a sealed, out-of-court settlement just weeks before the trial was scheduled to begin. While the exact terms are protected by a strict non-disclosure agreement, legal experts and industry insiders speculate that the settlement is in the high eight figures, likely between $75 and $100 million, making it one of the largest settlements of its kind. Poppy's parent company has released a sterile, tight-lipped corporate statement wishing Mr. Richards well in his future endeavors, a classic example of corporate damage control. Meanwhile, Josh posted a cryptic but powerful story on Instagram, a picture of himself on a yacht, looking out at the ocean, with the simple caption, "Sometimes you just have to bet on yourself." This settlement is being hailed as a landmark, historic victory for creators everywhere. It sends a powerful, unambiguous message to corporations that the influence and brand-building power of top-tier talent is a tangible, legally defensible asset that cannot be dismissed or exploited. The case is already causing a massive ripple effect across the industry. Talent agencies are reportedly scrambling to renegotiate their clients' equity deals to include much stricter, ironclad clauses that protect them from similar situations. While the legal battle was undoubtedly long, stressful, and expensive, Josh Richards' fight has fundamentally and permanently altered the power balance between creators and the brands they help build, proving that in the modern economy, influence isn't just a buzzword, it's an asset worth fighting for, to the tune of millions of dollars. Our final major story tonight is one defined by deafening silence, not by loud shouting. The explosive and deeply personal feud between music superstars Lana Del Rey and Ethel Cain, which dominated headlines and fan forums last year, has now entered a new, colder, and arguably more fascinating phase. The conflict, which began over a shared ex-boyfriend and a perceived copied photograph, escalated dramatically and took a much darker turn when Lana publicly accused Ethel of sustained private body shaming and psychological cruelty. The accusations were so serious and so personal that they created a deep and seemingly permanent rift between the two artists, whose devoted and often overlapping fan bases have been left in a state of perpetual tension and division. As of August 2025, there has been no public reconciliation, apology, or clarification. In fact, the strategic silence itself has become a powerful statement. Both artists released critically acclaimed new albums this year, and in the absence of direct commentary, fans have meticulously dissected the lyrics for any hidden references, turning themselves into lyrical detectives. Lana's new album, a sprawling epic titled Goddess of the Expressway, features a haunting track called Paper Dolls, with biting lyrics about a porcelain pretender with a poison pen, which a vast majority of her fanbase believes is a direct and unforgiving shot at Ethel. Meanwhile, Ethel Cain's latest project, a darker, more experimental and ambient EP, seems to consciously avoid the topic altogether. Her fans interpret this silence as her taking the artistic high road, a refusal to engage in a public spat she feels she was unfairly dragged into. The music industry itself seems to be navigating the feud with extreme caution. Festival organizers and awards show planners have reportedly been instructed by both artists' teams not to book them for the same event, or even place them in the same vicinity, to avoid potential drama. This ongoing Cold War serves as a fascinating look at how modern celebrity conflicts are waged not just in explosive tweets or public spats, but in the calculated and weaponized silence and in the coded, deeply personal messages embedded within their art. leaving their fans to endlessly interpret the meaning behind the music and fight the proxy war on their behalf. So, what does this week's comprehensive briefing truly tell us about the state of modern fame? We see that empires can fall and be strategically rebuilt from the ashes, as in the complex case of Tana Mongeau and Brooke Schofield. We see that the value of creative influence is not just a concept, but a tangible, legally defensible asset worth hundreds of millions of dollars, as proven by Josh Richards' landmark settlement. And we see that some of the deepest conflicts are fought not with loud words, but with a tense, strategic, and deafening silence, as the Cold War between Lana Del Rey and Ethel Cain continues. In the relentless 24/7 news cycle of the creator world, the only constant is chaotic change, and the only certainty is that the undisputed power players of today could very easily become the forgotten headlines of tomorrow. This has been your briefing. We will continue to monitor these developing stories and see you next time.